All right, we're live. GM, everybody. Welcome to what's going to be another great DevNTell. So if you didn't know, DevNTell is a 30-minute window for builders to showcase something they're passionate about or been working on in Web3. It's going to be an awesome project you've been working on, unit testing best practices, automation goodies, smart contracts, how to structure a project, etc. Basically, if you've got a passion for something, this is your opportunity to share with the community. And today I'm ecstatic to have the Unlock Protocol team on the show, Julien Genestoux and Chris Carfi. Welcome, gang. Pleasure to have you all on.
Thank you, Narb. Great to be here.
Thank you for having us, Narb. It's a pleasure to be here, and hello, Developer DAO community.
Yeah, my pleasure, gang. I guess before we get into the meat of the content, did you both want to give a brief introduction about yourselves, just so the crowd can get to know you?
Yeah, I will start. My name is Julien Genestoux. I'm the CEO and founder here at Unlock. I am French, but I live in the US, even though this week I'm actually in Istanbul, so experiencing Dev Connect. And really happy about all of this Turkish delight that I just had. So excited to see everyone. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
And Chris Carfi, I head up marketing for Unlock Protocol. I've been with the project for about 2 years.
Excellent. Yes, and thank you so much for coming on, gang. I guess in the interest of time, did we just want to get into the content right away?
Absolutely, yeah, and I'll start by sharing my screen, I guess, and people will see my full screen for a second here. Entire screen sharing, and I will immediately start a quick slideshow presentation. And so I can't see anyone's faces or anything. So if I say anything wrong, or if there's something wrong, please shout. So we're doing a quick presentation about Unlock. The Unlock protocol and a quick workshop. You'll learn about the protocol, obviously, in a second. We'll do a small live coding demo with a bunch of links to specifically a GitHub repo, so you can play with that. If we have time, we'll also look at some ecosystem tooling, as well as other interesting things. Obviously, we have docs, guides, repos, tutorials, sample codes that you can look at on our website as well. As I said a couple of minutes ago, my name is Julien Genestoux. I'm the founder at Unlock Protocol. Before that, I was actually founder at another company called Superfeeder, which was sold to Medium, the blogging platform, in 2016. I'm a big open source advocate and fan. Worked in the past with W3C, which is the World Wide Web Consortium. And I'm also a member of the Graph Council for people that are using the Graph. I am pretty much Julien 51 on all of the things. Actually, this week somebody asked why 51. It's like, guess what? All of the first 50 were taken way back when I was creating this. And you can obviously follow me on my blog as well at ouvre-boîte.com. That in French means open box. Chris, I'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Great, thank you. If you can stop sharing, what I'll do is I'll grab the share and then go through a few things here. So similarly, going to share screen, entire screen, risky click as always. And there we go. All right, and slideshow, and similarly, let me know if anything is off here. I head up marketing here at Unlock. I have been with a number of startups, head up global content community for GoDaddy for about 6 years, and then joined Unlock about 2 years ago. So going to do a quick overview of just what is Unlock, and then throw it back to Julien for a live demo. So Unlock is a smart contract protocol. These smart contracts can be used to create memberships, subscriptions, sell NFTs, and the like. Use cases are many: memberships, subscriptions, including on-chain recurring subscriptions, ticketing. We ticketed a bunch of events at Dev Connect this week, gaming, on-chain certifications, etc. It's an open source project, open source protocol. Project's been around for about 5 years. The reason Julien created Unlock was there are a bunch of NFTs, but for the particular use cases of membership subscriptions, anything that is time-bound, regular NFTs don't work for that. So need to have a time component. These NFTs or these memberships that are represented by the ERC 721s, they need to expire, need to be able to do things like have recurring renewals and recurring revenue tied to those memberships, be able to pay for them on-chain, off-chain, credit cards, ERC 20s, any kind of EVM ERC20 will work for that, being able to make them soul-bound, not soul-bound, and evolve as we're learning things. The space has evolved so much over the last few years that having something that is truly immutable actually doesn't make a lot of sense. You want to have the audit trail. You want to understand what has happened, but we do want to be able to upgrade as things go forward. And so the unlock smart contracts that you as a developer can use, they're updatable, they're upgradable, they're programmable. And as I said, use cases, we're seeing a ton. We're seeing memberships. We are seeing recurring revenue subscriptions. We are doing dozens of events every month that are getting ticketed on chain with unlock certifications, credentials, gaming, loyalty programs, and the like, attendance NFTs. So we're seeing projects, even if they don't ticket on, or I'm sorry, even if they don't register on chain, maybe they're using something like Luma, they're still doing attendance NFTs using unlock, digital collectibles, and the like. So I'm just going to do kind of a quick flip through a few of these and then get to the demo with Julien. So ticketing mentioned, DAppCon is one of the projects that used unlock for ticketing this year. Subscriptions, we're seeing a ton of interest really over the last couple of months in the subscription space. So once a project has been set up, if somebody wants to give subscription only access to things and have that recurring and have those particular subscriptions renew on chain, we're seeing folks like DeFi Robot do that, and they're making literally, I think this year they're going to do north of 250K in revenue in recurring subscriptions, which is phenomenal. Ton of different time-based memberships. So if you've heard of Cabin City, they're using Unlock to power their memberships because, again, those are time-based, and a whole host of other things. We're seeing the Pixels gaming universe using Unlock as well, and a raft of other ones. Chasm is powering all their loyalty programs and such. So wanted to give a quick taste of this, and we know this is a short program. So with that, Julien, I'm going to throw it back to you so you can actually get in and show folks how they actually develop using Unlock.
Absolutely, and we're going to do a quick example. I'm going to share my screen again after this. Okay, it's loading. We're going to do a quick example. So I'm in Istanbul this week, as you all heard, and the example that I'm doing is basically I created a blog. Anything that you can do on Medium, on WordPress, on Substack, and this is pretty much like you've seen this 1,000 times, right? Like a small thing. I actually used ChatGPT to create the content for that blog. And also the images with a bunch of articles. And this is pretty much like any other blog, right? You see all of the content. And so what we want to do here in a couple of minutes is add a membership to this blog so that we can monetize it by selling access to the stories that are written on the blog. And so what I'm going to do here is really, really simple. And I'm going to show you my screen as well in terms of code. What I've done is created a special component called Oops. And obviously, not working as I wanted, but token gate here, and that component will go to it, and we'll see that it actually does a little bit of magic inside of this React application. I should mention the blog is using the Next.js blog template, so it's pretty much vanilla React out of the box or vanilla Next.js. So that token gate component does a couple things. So it will check whether the user is connected. And if the user is not connected, we'll actually have a connect button, and we'll see what that does in a minute. If the state is loading, we'll show a loading button. If there's an error, we'll show an error. If the member is not a member, we'll show a checkout component. Or if the member is logged in and is a member, we'll then show the children. And you'll see here on a post body, basically, that we render the content of the post wrapped inside a token gate component. Very, very simply, we're using the user account hook from our friends at WAGMI. WAGMI, if you don't know, is an amazing JavaScript library for all hooks using Ethereum, basically contracts, etc. And the second function is called use contract read. It is also coming from WAGMI, and it's basically reading the state of a contract. And here we're using this lock address. I'll explain in a couple seconds what is a lock. The ABI from the lock, and the function balance of, which if you have looked at an NFT contract, is the normal function to retrieve the balance of a user. The rest is pretty much kind of boiler code here. And the checkout component basically loads a checkout UI. We'll see what that looks like in a minute. And the connect button will have a sign in button, very, very basic here. So let's actually save this and then go to the blog. And now I can, so same as before, view the content, but if I click here, now there's a sign in button. So what I'm going to do here is click on sign in. I already connected my wallet earlier, so it means that it didn't prompt me, but technically it should have prompted me to connect. Actually, you know what? Let me do the demo completely here. So I'm just going to disconnect this one, switch to this account, and I'm going to just disconnect. And same for this one, I'm going to disconnect. So now I'm not connected with any account. And so if I click sign in, you'll see that MetaMask pops up. I'm connecting my hot wallet, click connect. It says purchase one now. And so I'm going to click yes. At that point, we're loading a checkout UI, which is something that we built at Unlock, completely optional. There's probably a little bug underneath, but I'm being asked to sign a message. And what I'm going to do here is just buy one of these memberships. And the lock is actually the membership contract. So I wanted to show you that. You can easily deploy one from the Unlock dashboard. We'll show that in a second. I can pay with ETH and just go ahead and pay with crypto. I'm going to switch network to be on the Linea network. Great, MetaMask is popping up. I can spend a little bit of money here to mint one of these membership NFT. While this is minting, I want to show you the Unlock contract. This is a contract that I deployed earlier. Actually, you can see 4 days ago. And you can go to the Unlock dashboard to deploy your own versions. So here, I'm just connecting the wallet. You see I've deployed a ton, but you can also very easily deploy one through that interface. I'm actually not going to go on Linea with this account, so I'm just going to disconnect here and use the same wallet, the hot wallet here. Perfect. Confirm account. I'll show you how to deploy a contract. So I can pick any of the networks that we're on, and we're at this point on 14 different networks. We only show a subset here. Let's do Gertie. So developer DAO demo. Actually, that's 3Ds. And let's do membership that are valid for 1 day. I'm going to set an unlimited number of memberships, and I'm going to use USDC for $1. And so if I click next, I am actually deploying a new membership contract here. After this is going to be mine. While this is going to deploy, let's go back to the blog. I think this has been done, and if I just click close, you'll see sign in. I guess I refreshed. Yep. Okay, it took a little bit second to load here, but as you can see now, I can see the full content of the post because I have one of these membership from the contract on Linea. Again, going very fast, so skipping over a couple of details here, but the one thing maybe I could show you is I've got way too many tabs open. Going back to the window with the token gate contract, I can show you in the constant is where I configured the network. So this is the one on Linea that I just demoed. And if I wanted to use the one on Gertie, I would put 5, and here I would paste the contract address. And after this, the whole blog will just use that new contract. If you're interested, we obviously have a link for you guys in the deck, and that I'm going to quickly show here because I'm still showing my screen. Here, so you can check the demo live on Versal. Obviously, you can check that link, or obviously check the code as well on GitHub for that demo. And with that, Chris, I'm ending it back to you.
Great, thank you. So want to do a quick pause there before we get into some other things for folks who are on the comments. If you do have any questions, any things that you want to ask about how the implementation was done, definitely please jump in on the comments on those. Wanted to just add a little bit of color on a few things that Julien showed there. So we've got all of the mechanisms to deploy those contracts, manage those contracts and such. All of that is part of the open source Unlock Protocol project. So anybody can go to docs.unlock-protocol.com and learn all of those different things, get access to all of those and many other examples as well. In addition, Unlock Labs, which is the organization Julien and I work for, has developed a number of convenience layer things for the protocol. That dashboard that Julien showed is one of the things that anyone can use that Unlock Labs has put out into the world as an open source resource as well. So to deploy all of the contracts through that interface, you can just do that. There are a number of other capabilities as well. So doing airdrops, doing ticketing check-ins, all of those types of things are tools that are out there for your use as well. So really, whatever level of detail you want to get into, if you want to do it more or less no code, you can more or less do that using some of these helper apps that are out there. Or if you want to go in and tightly integrate Unlock into your projects without exposing anything that is Unlock Labs oriented, you can absolutely do that as well. If you look at what the Protocol Labs folks did this week for Lab Week, I don't know, Julien, do you want to talk about the app that they developed a little bit?
Absolutely. I thought I was on mute. Yes, absolutely. So Unlock Protocol underlying smart contracts. Protocol Labs built a really cool application that you can find at labweek.io, actually 23.labweek.io. And it is basically a ticketing / events application where you can register for any of the events that they were hosting this week here in Istanbul. And when you do that, you receive an NFT that is your ticket. They actually generate QR codes that you can show when you at the gate of any of these events, and the organizers, Protocol Labs in that situation, can actually scan. And really, the power of using Unlock here is fantastic because they have a flexibility of using these membership contracts to kind of airdrop, cancel if they want to cancel someone's membership, they can easily do that. But also manage this as you would manage any kind of event and ticketing software, except that it is on chain. And one of the really fantastic things that I'm pushing them to do is consider having, kind of a Discord server that actually maps the tickets that you have, and so you can be in the channels where everybody else that is attending is, for kind of a back channel room. You can imagine a situation where maybe there's a voting that happens during a session, and you can easily do that by saying, hey, people that have the ticket can use Snapshot to vote on things. And so it's really kind of the multiplayer mode that I want to praise in the Web3 world, where you have one contract that is interacted with by many different types of application.
Awesome. So I'm just going to jump back over to the deck here just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll open it up for Q&A. So in the deck here, let me do that. Let me do this, and then let me do that. And hopefully everybody can see that. And again, if for some reason you can't, let me know. So Julien did take us through the live coding demo. There is a number of parts of Unlock. So I just want to touch on a few of these. So we've talked a little bit about the dashboard and checkout. So the dashboard is that screen that you saw where any of the smart contracts that you have deployed that in the Unlock ecosystem we refer to as locks, that is that dashboard is a UI layer on top of all of those smart contracts. So you can manage duration, you can manage who the members are, you can renew things, you can withdraw funds from the smart contract and such. You can update the imagery for the particular NFTs that have been minted and such. All of that you can do through that point and click dashboard. Secondly, you did briefly see the checkout modal, and that feels just like a Stripe checkout type of thing. It is very straightforward through the dashboard to configure those checkout modals, what kind of logos you want on them, what kind of name, what various memberships or subscriptions you want to sell through there. That checkout can hook up to Stripe. We've got connections out to Crossmint as well. So it works with credit cards in, 130 countries, something like that. All of those types of things are available to you as well. Julien, I'm going to leave the slide up, but throw it over to you for the voiceover. Do you want to talk through some of the developer tooling a little bit?
Yeah, so you mentioned the subgraphs already. So for people that are not familiar, it's usually not very easy to read data from the chains, especially if you're querying multiple contracts at once. And so the good example is like or even the same contract but querying multiple things. If you want to list the number of members, it would be, if you start having more than a couple dozen subscribers, it would be very expensive to read each of the expiration date one by one. Expensive in time, not necessarily in money, but expensive in time. Subgraphs are actually, you can think of them as views, a very cool way to kind of aggregate the data in a different way, and then you can actually query it in a single request. It's using GraphQL as the query language, which means that it actually integrates very, very nicely inside a React application and other apps of this kind. Unlock.js is a library that we use that is basically only querying the chain. And one thing that you should know, Unlock is a protocol, so it actually evolves over time as multiple versions. And Unlock.js is a library that actually abstracts away the use of different versions. So you can use the same, calls to call any version of the contract, and use to deploy locks. etc., etc. It might not be the best library if you're using, a single membership contract. You might be better off just using, VM or ethers, depending on what your favorite thing of the day to interact with the contract rather than the unlock.js library, because the unlock.js library, as I said, includes support for multiple networks or multiple locks across multiple networks. We mentioned the checkout UI, so we actually have a way to embed that checkout UI through what we call the paywall, which is a small JavaScript. I mean, it's actually a pretty cool JavaScript library that supports signing with Ethereum as well, so you can authenticate your users like this, and obviously supports the checkout. It is fully configurable. The checkout, as I said, and Chris said, I see with a JSON blob, and that paywall library uses the same JSON configuration. And finally, we have something really interesting. Actually, we have two types of hooks. We're only talking about the smart contract hooks, but we also have webhooks. So you have a way for your application to know when somebody just purchased a new membership, or somebody deployed a lock, or any of that. The lock is a membership contract, but the contract themselves have hooks on-chain. So let's say you want to create something where you have a membership contract that's fantastic, you're happy with this, but you want to notify or trigger something in a different contract when somebody purchases one of your memberships. So let's say you want to say, okay, when someone's purchases a membership, I want to also airdrop to them some developer DAO token or something like this. Well, the hook library lets you do that. So basically, it's the idea that you can change the behavior of your contract by calling a third-party contract. And we have actually an interesting collection of hooks. I think we have 8 at this point, or 7. That can be triggered when somebody purchases, when somebody cancels, when a membership is extended, so renewed from a month to another month. But also, for example, we have a way using these hooks to generate what is called dynamic NFTs. So the NFT renders differently from a UI perspective based on some on-chain characteristics. It is a kind of a fairly advanced use case, but it's a very cool one. Here we also mentioned dynamic pricing. So let's say you want to create something where the price of the membership changes during the day. Well, you would use a hook to read the time of the day in a different contract and then return a different value based on whether it's morning or evening. It's not necessarily the most useful thing, but that's how you can do this. Same allow list. So you can have a third-party contract that has an allow list of people who can buy or claim a specific membership. So these are some of the tools. There's actually a couple more as well, all listed in our docs, and then Chris will point you to that in a minute, I think.
Awesome. And then again, as part of an ever-growing ecosystem, there are a lot of different partners that have integrated with the protocol over time. So it would be from Magic, Stripe, Superfluid, Uniswap, ETHPass, and others. So we've got a number of different building blocks that already work with Unlock Protocol. Obviously, if you look, and the networks have even expanded since this slide was put together, but we've worked with a number of different projects, number of different integrations and agencies and frameworks over the last couple of years. And then in here, I'm just going to flip through this really quickly. If you head over to our YouTube site, and then Narb, I'll throw it back to you. If you head over to our YouTube site, there are more detailed live coding demos, both on the front end, back end, as well as deploying contracts as well. So with that, want to open it up to the group. And Narb, thank you for hosting, and back over to you.
Yeah, that was excellent, gang. Very efficient too. So gang, for those of you watching, if you have any questions for Julien or Chris, please drop them in the comments. And in the meantime, I do have a couple of questions. So
fire away.
Yes. So when you were demoing the UI, you were able to set a duration for how long the particular membership or NFT would last. Is that duration static, or can you program it to be dynamic?
So the duration, good question. The duration that you program at the contract level is the duration of every single membership. So they're all going to be 1 month, but obviously that month starts when they're minted, and they're minted when they're purchased. So if I buy mine now, it's going to expire a month from now. But if Chris buys tomorrow, then his is going to expire a month plus 1 day, because he's doing this tomorrow. So the duration is itself fixed inside of the contract, but each NFT has a different expiration date based on when it got minted plus the duration. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
And obviously, I should mention, this is all on-chain. Like, people ask all the time, like, is this on-chain? Yes, the expiration is on-chain, and the NFT is expired on-chain in a way that basically it's almost like it doesn't exist anymore. I mean, it still exists, it's still in your wallet, but it is marked as expired on chain.
Gotcha. The use case I was thinking of was if you think about renting a hotel room or renting or buying a plane ticket, for example. A hotel room has a dynamic rental period attached to it, right? I can book a room for a day, a month, a week, or whatnot. If I wanted to create if I wanted to model basically a hotel based on with unlock protocol, is that possible to do, or would I have to mint a contract for every room?
It is so you would have to mint a contract for the whole hotel, I guess, and then you can absolutely do that, but you would have to do it with a hook. So basically, you would have a duration of one night, because you can't rent less than a night, mostly in most hotels. I mean, I'm sure there's some.
There are probably some.
Let's be not too creative here. Let's say per night hotel. So you could choose a duration of, like, say 24 hours here. And what you can do is the purchase function on the contract actually has a data field. And here you would use actually the data field to mention the number of nights that you would want to do. And obviously the contract, when you call it, and then you would use the hook to change the price dynamically based on that parameter. So you would query the contract and say, okay, if I want to buy 1 day, it's going to be $10. But if I want to buy 2 days, the contract will return like, okay, the duration is twice the night's duration. I mean, arguably, I think that's a decent way to price things. And so we return $20. And then the purchase function is the same. Basically, when you click purchase, the contract could set an expiration date. The hook contract can set an expiration date based on how many days have been purchased, or what the data field is. And if it's like 5, well, it will actually do 5 times the 1 day duration, which is 5 days.
I see.
Does that make sense?
Yes. And can you apply that same construct to the price as well? So
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so even though the contract has a base price, the kind of the face value, the thing that the hotel advertises, you can actually make it dynamic. So in the one of the examples that we have a lot is the concept of discount codes. So you can actually create a thing where you would use the data attribute here to pass a random string that is a discount code, and then if the user has this, then you change the price based on that discount code set. So you can make that dynamic based on the discount code or based on what the user has in their wallet. So basically, let's go back to the hotel thing, but you can do a thing where, oh, this guy already has bought an NFT, a week ago, or from a different hotel, but we're partners with them. It's the same, group. Then we give them a discount based on that.
And then you've done it the other way too, Julien. I seem to remember you did a demo with sort of a bonding curve sort of thing, where the price itself actually changed based on time and number of purchases.
Absolutely right. And so you can definitely do something where the price goes up with every single membership being sold, or the price goes down with time that passes between 2 memberships being sold. That kind of thing to manage demand and kind of create not auctions, but an auction-like system where basically, the more people buy, the more expensive it gets. And then if nobody buys for a longer period, then the price goes down. So you have something that is always kind of at the right market price based on that. I think it's a very powerful system, yes.
Cool. And I guess my second question before we get the time is, so DAOs today, for memberships, they either run with NFTs or they run with holding a certain amount of tokens. So if a DAO wanted to introduce a temporary membership to sit alongside their lifetime memberships, basically, is that possible with
100%? Yeah, absolutely. And what I would do is, I wouldn't say or. When you said the DAO has either NFTs or coins, ERC20s, well, you should price your NFT using an ERC20 that is the DAO's membership, the DAO's basically token. So let's say there's an ERC20 for developer DAO that is the dev token. I don't know, this is just a random example. And you can make it so that, a month-long membership is like a dev. And so people would have to spend the ERC20 to get a membership NFT, creating a very interesting dynamic where maybe the DAO rewards its contributors with dev tokens and say, okay, you've done, you are being paid in dev basically, and then you can use these devs to, not the dev people, but the dev tokens, to actually extend your membership or purchase a membership every month. And I think that creates a very healthy economy now where the DAO rewards its members with ERC20s based on what actions they've done, and then the DAO members spend these ERC20s to actually obtain memberships and or purchase them. Because one of the things that I've shown in the demo, which is really powerful, we have the concept of swap and purchase. So if when you try to purchase in that checkout UI, if you don't have the tokens that is being required for the price, so I don't have devs, but I do have USDC, the UI will actually show me the ability to, in one single transaction, pay in USDC and then get the NFT. So I don't have to go swap somewhere else, which actually means that in practice, the contract will go buy some dev on my behalf with my USDC and get me a membership. So if I don't have enough dev because I haven't worked the last month, well, I can still buy the membership and automatically spend USDC to do that.
Yeah, another thing that we see with DAOs, and we've seen this with Cabin DAO, which is now Cabin City, and Journo DAO, and a number of other ones, having this concept of a membership that is the duration of a season. And that season could be a quarter, it could be a year, it could be whatever you want. And that helps get around the issue of the folks who were in early having a disproportionate impact on the DAO. So you could say, if you contributed to last season, then you get a membership for next season. And so you'd know who are the folks who have always had memberships. You can check all of that on chain, but you can say, okay, well, the only folks who can vote on governance things are the folks who currently have a currently valid membership. And so there are a lot of different ways that we're starting to see DAOs implement this concept of time-based membership into things like governance as well. And so this is something that we're seeing a lot of folks start to do.
Interesting. Yeah, that unfortunately brings us to time here, but this was a very informative talk, and yeah, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show today and let us know about Unlock Protocol.
Absolutely, it was a pleasure. And again, we're available to answer any question that developers have when they build stuff. I want to mention also, I think Chris mentioned it, but we have a grants program. So if you think about building something really cool, which you should definitely consider applying for a grant from us so that you can join the DAO and help us decide of the future of the Unlock Protocol.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation, Narb. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. And before people leave, one last thing from you guys. How can people get in contact with you if they want to learn more or want to ask you guys questions?
Yeah, so personally, see Carfi, CCARFI on all the things, but the project is at unlock-protocol.com. And from there, you can find our docs, you can find our Discord, you can find YouTube videos and the like. So head over to unlock-protocol.com.
And yeah, Julien, you said you were Julien51 on all the things?
Julien51 on all the things. And, but importantly, unlock-protocol.com, link to Discord, as Chris was saying, to docs, etc., etc.
Excellent. And gang, all that information will be on the description of the YouTube video. So if you want to go and check that out, that is your place to check that out. And before everybody leaves, I want to present everybody with the QR code. Sorry for cutting off your face there, Chris. The QR code for claiming your NFT for being an attendee today on DevNTell. So what you want to do is scan this QR code and head to the form, fill out that form. You'll have an hour and a half from now to fill out this form. And if you do, you'll be airdropped a NFT for being an attendee today within the next couple of days. So take some time to do that if you're interested. And if not, we'll catch you back here next week for another great DevNTell. Happy Friday. Happy weekend, everybody.
Thanks all.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.